from me, just a motocross novice. So this week I'm going to give you a little review on my KTM 350. Here it is in all its glory. So what we'll go over first is how I bought the bike, what year it is, everything like that, what I've had done to the bike and how I find it, to be honest. So firstly, before I get into this, what I used to have is a KTM 125, which I'll put some pictures up now. So you may see a lot of bikes out there that have got like the shiny foot pegs and shiny gear levers and everything like that. The one reason why I wouldn't do that again is I've done it on my 125. I spent an awful lot of money on all shiny bits, whether it be levers or foot pegs or gear levers and brake levers and coloured sprockets and spacers, you name it, you can buy bits for the bike. Now what I find with that stuff, it's shiny metal, looks fantastic for a few days. A couple of tracks later it all chips away and it gets marks on it and it just starts looking a bit rough. And let's be honest, they're motocross bikes, do you know what I mean? Especially with me, when I drop them and crash and stuff like that. Although I haven't had any major crashes, but you get marks in it like these are graphics I did replace because I broke one of the panels when I had a crash. I cracked the panels, so I had these new panels and new graphics, and just from a few track days you do find that it rips away on the graphics and the plastics. So I would never do what I've done before with all the shiny metal stuff. Looks fantastic, don't get me wrong, but it just doesn't last long in my opinion. Tyres do I run? Dunlops. Love the Dunlops, MX-33s I think they are. I found they're the best tyres to run. They kind of suited all round, whether it's sand or mud or slosh, whatever you want to ride in. I'm not, like I say, I'm not one of these ones where I'll change my tyres out depending on what track we go to. I'm not that into it, to be honest. So that's it. I'll tighten the chain before we ride, it's a bit loose that is. So yeah, that's it. That's the KTM 350. Lovely bike, too much power for me if I'm really honest, but is what it is. Love it. Don't think I'd ever go back to a two-stroke. They're a lot harder to ride on track. These are a lazy way of riding. When you hear people say that, what they mean is that they're twist it and go. So I can go around a track in second and third gear mostly. On this, it's got enough power, everything like that. With a 125 you're constantly changing gear. It's more fun of the experience, it's just a lot harder to ride. So I'm about the lazy life, especially on the 4 strokes. Love them, wouldn't go back to a 2-stroke. So this bike, the way I bought it, so you can probably see straight off the bat, it's got Aquapovic exhaust on it. This is just the end can, that's how I bought it. I've got the original here. What else did it have to it? And that is pretty much it, what the bike had on it. So when I bought it, it's electric start. You can see here, so it's electric start, there's no kick start. It's got the map and traction settings here. I normally run it in, depending on what track we go on, I normally use 2. It's just more of an aggressive power than number 1, depending if we're sand or dirt, whether I'll leave the traction on. I'll play around with it on the track. I don't notice the difference that much, but it's always worth having a play around with it. So first thing I done to this bike as soon as I got it was put it into MMX suspension. Great company, great guy, and got it all set up to my weight. So I had a new rear shock to my weight, and I also had the front suspension all set up, so it's all set up to my weight, which is perfect. What else have I done? Bought this Pro Carbon exhaust cover, just to cover the exhaust, bit of protection on there. Like I said, the pipe that came like that, it's just the end can. This is just the standard one. I've got the original in there. most important thing I think I've done to the bike is, well, you can see there, 56 hours I've been saying, is change the bar mounts. So the way these come as standard is these little mounts in here, these are the bar mounts, these little ones in here come as standard as rubber. Now what I found, me being a novice, I drop it a lot, I fall off a few times. They just bend the bars a lot. So you can buy these, I think they're about 20 quid, and they change the rubber to metal. Just means that when I drop it in a corner, I haven't got bent handlebars. Well, not bars, the bars never bent, but the mounts aren't bent. I think KTM designed them so for that exact reason. If you do drop it, you're never going to damage the bars, but to damage the actual bars, you've got to be going some. So that's one of the big upgrades that I've done. It wasn't expensive, wasn't hard to do, but just means that when I drop it, I've got to go back to the pits and sort the bars out. Apart from that, the bike is standard. It's a 350, like I say, 56 hours on it. Absolutely lovely bike. So how I find this bike now, going from a 125 to the 350 was a big jump. It's a lot of power. It is an awful lot of power, more than I'll ever use, but I love it. I love the bike. I love the bike a lot. It's absolutely wonderful. Does everything you need it to do on the track. It's a bit heavy. It's going to be. It's a 350 compared to a 250 or anything like that. But the power's there. I love the look of KTM, and that's my review on it. Wouldn't change it for anything. It's an absolutely lovely bike. Sorry, that's my phone going off. Now we are at Mildenhall this coming week. My friend's actually just got a Yamaha Monster Edition 250. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a session on his bike. We'll swap bikes for the session, and I will give you, I'll put some footage up on there coming in the next couple of weeks, and I'll give you a review on what I think of that. A lot of my mates, they'll all be watching this, I'm sure. Most of them will always they always slate me and the other boys for having KTMs. They all love Yamahas. So what I'll do, I will do an honest review on the Yamaha. Like I say, KTM never had any issues, handles well for me. I had the suspension done, traction is lovely. You can pop it down into map 1 if you want to just crawl about, map 2 if you want that bit more poke. So I will give the review on the Yamaha to see how we get on with that one. But that's it. That's my KTM 350. So that is a review of my 350. Would I recommend it for first time rider? Definitely not. So much power. But would I recommend it in general? 100%. Of course I would. It's a bike. It'll go as fast as you want it to. Just like anything really. So that is that. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.